Hey everybody, it's the coach. Welcome to the special Saturday edition of the NFL on EA Sports. On tap, we've got what should be a fairly intriguing matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos. With that, we're off to the Rocky Mountains. Standing by in Denver, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, we are just west of downtown Denver off of I-25 at Broncos Stadium at Mile High. A moment ago, through a shower of pyrotechnics, it was the hometown Broncos taking the field as they get set to do battle with the Jacksonville Jaguars. With you from the booth, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis. CDR matchup here. A couple of teams last year that were really pretty similar. Both under 500, both missed the playoffs, and they both think that they can turn things around in 2019.
Yeah, how about 2018, though? A case of the haves and the have-nots. In 16-game seasons in the NFL, for the first time last year, no one finished 8-8. Now, you know that in baseball, basketball, other sports, turnarounds can take 3, 4, 5 years. In football, it could just be a few months.
The Jaguars have Josh Lambo out there to get us started. And off we go on EA Sports. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Broncos head out for their first drive, and at the controls in his first season in the Mile High City, a former Super Bowl champion in Joe Flacco. And in Baltimore, they drafted Lamar Jackson. Eventually, he would take over for Flacco week 10 a season ago. So Flacco out. Well, the Broncos said, we still think he has some time left in his career. They bring him in for some stability at quarterback, something that they really haven't had in Denver since the departure of Peyton Manning after their victory in Super Bowl 50. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. And let's look quickly here at the Denver offense.
And how about Phillip Lindsay's rookie season? Began the year third on the depth chart, finished it in the Pro Bowl. Not bad for an unrestricted free agent out of Colorado with speed to burn.
The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. Now it's Flacco. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. And we take you through the starting defense for Jacksonville.
Let's get a little bit bigger light shined right here because we're talking about two guys. Cornerbacks Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye. Maybe the best tandem in the NFL. Both physically able to dominate receivers. They're textbook examples of shutdown corners. Collectively, they allowed only 2 touchdowns the entire 2018 season.
Third play here, this opening drive as they're up against a 3rd and 5.
Let's make these babies crawl.
Flacco from the gun. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Lindsay. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to make it 4th down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Second-year punter Colby Wadman out there now for the Broncos. Back deep for the Jags, D.D. Westbrook. On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. The Jags taking the field, led by their quarterback, Gardner Minshew. He is now the man under center, Charles. And the Thursday night audience, they got their first dose of Minshew mania, we'll call it. He was pretty efficient, 20 of 30, 204 yards, and threw for 2 scores.
And what I loved about watching him play is the air of confidence he carries himself with. No hesitation at all about being a 6th-round draft choice. He acts like he should have been the first quarterback taken off the board. And his accuracy, every ball he throws is in a good location, gives his receivers an opportunity. Should have had more than the 20 completions. There were a number of drops by Jacksonville guys. So this kid is playing awfully well here in the early going. And last but not least, how about his dad in the stands? Those shots of his dad. The old man's been hitting the weight room pretty well, hasn't he?
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. On 2nd down, Minshew. The catch made by James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Check, 47. You don't want nothing.
They'll try and run for it with Fournette. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a 1st down. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
Check.
Give them 32 on the play.
Here we go.
It's not a surprise when you read scouting reports and watch tape because you know he's a heck of a player. But he is so difficult to get down in the open field. They just want to get him the ball and let him do his thing.
So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. Minshew, 1st and 10. It's complete to Chris Conley. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. That's over 40 yards of movement with those last 2 plays. Well, they're piecing together a nice drive to start this one. Seems pretty scripted and pretty successful so far.
And I think they did it without our help. Because you remember when we sat in the production meeting with them to talk about this, and hey, how you guys going to come out of the gate? I know I offered my help with a few plays, and they didn't seem to want it.
Offer mine.
You were the smart one. Whatever they're doing, though, it's working really well.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. And here's a look at the defense for Denver.
Well, let's showcase cornerback Kareem Jackson has brought his talents from Houston to Denver, and the Broncos are really excited about using him all over their secondary. Primarily a corner for most of his career, the last couple of seasons he swung back to safety as well and has done a nice job in both spots.
So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22.
Let's see what you got.
They go back to the ground now with Fournette. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. They get 6 here after the incompletion, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Now Minshew. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
So on 4th down, Jags kicker Josh Lambo comes on. A 33-yarder from the left hash. The kick by Lambo is good, and the Jaguars grab a 3-0 lead. So the opening drive does yield points, maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3.
Accumulating 1st downs does not go up on the scoreboard, but it does go into the DNA of a team that's trying to establish itself to start a game. That has to feel pretty good for them. They'll take the 3.
Yeah, they had 3 first downs and 3 points. Now after the made field goal, back out Lambo to kick this one off. This is fielded at the goal line. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. Denver ready to get the football back here. Let's look at the season so far for Denver, though, which obviously has not been good, Charles. They're 0-3 after the loss to Green Bay last week. And you think back to last year, this is 7 straight regular season losses now for the Denver Broncos. Not a good trend.
The first 0-3 start since 1999. Remember last year we talked about them missing the playoffs in back-to-back years, which doesn't happen for the Denver Broncos very often. And the offense had 3 turnovers. How about this, though? This is the one that blows me away. This terrific defense. No sacks or interceptions so far in 2019. Von Miller has no sacks. Bradley Chubb has no sacks. Chris Harris doesn't have an interception. These are terrific players. So far, they haven't made a mark yet this year.
The pass there complete to Sutton. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains. Sutton is part of a good young receiving core for the Broncos. They liked Sutton enough last year. They traded away Demaryius Thomas, if you remember, halfway through the season. And Sutton, he responded. Rookie campaign, had over 700 yards, 42 catches for the man from Brenham, Texas, which is located halfway between Houston and Austin. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Operating out of the gun, Flacco. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. Cortland Sutton was the man he was looking for, and that'll bring up 2nd down. You and I watched film yesterday, and you told me to watch his feet. Well, for whatever reason, his footwork just looked off on that throw.
And you always love it when an ex-defensive back talks quarterback mechanics, right?
Well, but you're good at it.
Well, I try, all right? I don't know how good I am, but it doesn't take much to tell. His mechanics are off a little bit, exactly what you described. Footwork, that led to the incompletion.
6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
They face a 3rd and 4 after that last completion gets them 6. Once more, it's Flacco. He'll find Lindsey here. And he will be very close to a 1st down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. The Broncos send out their punter now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. Back onto the field here comes Jacksonville's offense. And fresh off their first one of the season, beating Tennessee 20-7 in Week 3 of the NFL season. On the defensive side of the ball, Charles, that's where the story was. They had 9 sacks.
Yeah, almost doubled their season total in that ball game. Now, how about this? Calais Campbell, who has really played well since coming to Jacksonville, he had 3 sacks in the game. It felt like he had all 9. I don't think he got blocked the entire evening, but how about what Jacksonville has coming up? A couple of road games now. They've got to go to Denver, who's 0-3 to start the season, and then they go to Carolina, who got their first win at Arizona last weekend.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Throwing on 2nd down now, Minshew. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. The running back, Leonard Fournette, his intended receiver, and it's 3rd and 5.
Well, touch and time are critical for those types of throws. He put a lot of zip on that one. Needed just a little bit more finesse trying to get it to his back.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. From the gun, Minshew to throw. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Von Miller doing what he does best with a sack.
And that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. It led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
On 4th down, on is Logan Cook to punt. Fielded at the 20. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt. And the Broncos take over. 1st down and 10. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a 1st down.
Well, for teams that like to play man coverage, running corner routes can be tough on them because of the ability of getting into it. Sometimes you're squaring it off. Sometimes you're just rounding it. Sometimes there's a fake. Sometimes there's not. That makes it very, very difficult for a DB to stay with it.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Here's Flacco off the play fake to Lindsey. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Calais Campbell finding his way home for the sack. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Sack. Quarterback gets hit.
That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Setting up to throw, Flacco. Left side here, that's the tight end Fant. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for 3rd down.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down. And the Jags have 5 in the secondary here on 3rd down.
You can't block me. You can't block me.
They fake the handoff. Now Flacco to pass. He's got a man. It's Sutton. That's complete. Broncos on the move here a bit. Nice plays in succession back-to-back. Flacco now hitting on 80% of his passes in the early going. 8 of 10. It's 1st down. Play action. Flacco. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line. Just shy of the 20. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Flacco will come to the line, 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. On 1st and 10, it's Lindsey. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Up from the secondary to make the tackle, Jalen Ramsey.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you've got to continue to try and run and try and keep a defense honest.
You mean, or else they'll just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
This is Royce Freeman, second-year man from Oregon. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. It's a 1st down on a gain of 10.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive, and here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
Watch the screen, watch the screen, watch the screen.
Flacco off play action. And this is caught by Sutton. Touchdown, Broncos. A 7-yard touchdown grab, and the Broncos have taken the lead. Well, that's about as quick of a passing touchdown as you'll ever see right there.
Everyone has a section in their playbook called the quick game. That was a super quick game. Out of the hands of the thrower, bam, right to the receiver, successfully for a touchdown.
How in-depth is that quick game part of the playbook?
It's pretty in-depth because people want the ball in the hands of the quarterback into the playmaker's hands downfield as fast as possible. There are a lot of plays, a lot of options involved with that.
Extra point from McManus is good, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. So that drive goes 8 plays, and it ends with a Denver touchdown. After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. This is taken at the 3. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. A first down run, not going to get them a whole lot. Maybe a yard. Yeah, it looks like just 1 yard there, so that'll bring up 2nd and 9.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half, maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
If you're a selfish player and you're throwing the ball, you're cool with the completion. Maybe not so cool with the yardage loss, though, huh?
Yeah, you went backwards on the yardage. Hey, it kind of works like a sack for the defense there.
Yeah, it's a really big play for them, right? Able to figure it out, sniff it out, and finish it off.
A nickel set defensively for the Broncos here on 3rd down. So 3rd and long, here's Minshew. This one complete over the middle to O'Shaughnessy. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That one a pickup of 15 for Jacksonville. That tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
Ready? 8, read. Let's get it. Let's go.
And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
And I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage about to develop, but that goes against every instinct of a receiver. They're taught to catch everything. So it's really hard to be mad at him and yell at him for trying to make that play.
On the double. 51. It's a part of that. It's a part of that.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
Couple of plays sent them the wrong way, and now they face a 3rd and 14. Out of the gun is Minshew. He's going to let this one go deep. It's caught inside the 25. A gain of 39 that time.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score.
After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. The Jags with a football to begin the second quarter as they've got it with a 1st and 10. So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Now Minshew on 1st and 10. His throw caught right around the 6. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
One of the feature points of the in route is being able to make a nice throw to the middle part of the field. And for a quarterback, that's one of the better throws and better looks that he'll get. But he has to be careful not to wait too long and let his receiver wander into some tough territory. If he's late with the ball, he can get his receiver hit and hit hard.
2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Looking to throw it. Minshew. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Von Miller picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Well, surprise, surprise. 1st and goal at the 1. No quarterback sneak. No running play. They decide to throw for it, but the pressure got to him quickly and put the quarterback down.
Now from the 7, here's 2nd and goal. Here's Minshew. And it's caught. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. The catch good for 6 yards, but now it's 3rd and goal.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. Minshew sets to throw. And he's going to go down just outside of the 5, right around the 6-yard line. Derek Wolfe popping in for the sack.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. From the right hash, and this one just a chippy. And Lambeau will put this one through, and they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So the field goal there caps what winds up to be an 11-play drive.
Well, partner, that's a lot of offense to run there to only get 3 points. So I just wonder, are they going to recycle those plays because they were successful in getting 3? Or do you go to another section of the playbook trying to find ones that get you into the end zone and get you 6?
after the made field goal, back out Lambo to kick this one off. This fielded at the 2. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Here's Emmanuel Sanders now as he and the rest of the offense march back onto the field. Second quarter here, he has only one catch, but they have the lead. You got to think there's going to be more involved at some point.
That's what you would expect, but sometimes what defenses do to take away a player of his magnitude, it costs them in other areas. And right now, with them losing, they may have to change their focus, and maybe he will open up a little bit more as the game goes on.
Yeah, well, so far, just the single catch.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
From the 24, Flacco. This one complete to the running back, Lindsey. Not able to get a single yard there, and it'll bring up third down. They couldn't get anything going there out on the right side in the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
They had the catch on second down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at third down here. Flacco. Left side here to Sanders. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. They get 7 there, but it brings up fourth.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here he is, the man taking the snaps under center, heading out for the next possession. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well, but the pressure, it's got to him.
Has to find a way to step around it, step through it, or just handle it. Because, as you mentioned, he's having a pretty good day overall. Just the hits keep coming and taking those sacks. That's not the way that they want to finish a ball game with a quarterback on the ground so much.
He'd like to stay upright. When he's been upright, he's been pretty good. Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Charles, with that incompletion, I want to step back for a second, just talk about the quarterbacks this year. It's an interesting stat that you and I were looking at before the game. 40 quarterbacks have been used in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, most in the Super Bowl era. Some injuries and then just some changes at QB.
Yeah, and 20 of the starting quarterbacks this past Sunday under the age of 27. But what I like about what I'm seeing, despite the injuries, retirements, guys being unable to play, I'm seeing these youngsters and backups come in and play well in a lot of cases. Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville has taken charge there. They got their first win. Kyle Allen, 4 touchdown passes for Carolina in relief of Cam Newton. They got their first win.
And the Broncos get there and take him down. Von Miller getting him once again, his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Here's Logan Cook now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And it's fielded at the 34. That's a 49-yard punt, 8 though on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Now Joe Flacco and the offense heading back out onto the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of it. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes, but right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter.
Another scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, He looked like one of those guys.
Bootleg, Flacco. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Sacked by Yannick Ngakoue, the former Maryland Terp.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations, because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
Now after the sack, Flacco and the Broncos come up 3rd and long. Flacco fakes the give, sets to throw. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
The Broncos send out their punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it'll be Jaguar football as they take over deep in their own territory. Now this offense led by D.D. Westbrook trotting back onto the field. You better believe that he's well aware he has 0 catches right now, and they're losing, so he's probably a little hungry.
And you know the guys on defense are aware as well, and they're really excited that he has no catches, but they're also worried because a lot of times that's like the ticking time bomb. The longer you hold him down, when he finally explodes, look out.
Yeah, no catches, though, so far in this game. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
On 2nd down, here's Fournette. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Throwing on 1st down is Minshew. He's going to look deep down the field. That's caught inside the 20. A big 3rd down play there for the Jags. 57 yards. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. A shotgun give to Fournette. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Fournette running out of the gun, and he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that, got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
A 3rd field goal of the 1st half, not what they're looking for as they come up on 3rd down. Minshew throwing on 3rd down. And that is incomplete. By the way, I got to apologize because I just realized for about the last 4 or 5 plays, I'm eking over into your territory up here in the booth. My bad. I'm going to get back over to my spot.
Yeah, we're not talking about our on-air commentary. I mean, what is all this extra paper? I mean, this is unusual for you.
My bad.
Normally you run a really tight ship. What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play. The kick by Lambeau is good. And they jump back in front here. It's 9-7. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
Now after the made field goal, back out Lambeau to kick this one off. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Phillip Lindsay and the rest of the offense heading back out. He's just been looking for some space. I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try and mix things up a little bit. Get the ball in the hands of some other people, find some other playmakers, but always let the defense believe that he's still a threat.
I was going to say, don't forget about it.
No, don't take him totally out of the game.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. With that incompletion, we step league-wide for a second. I want to discuss Saquon Barkley's injury. Obviously, that hurts the Giants, who are having a quarterback change. And look, Daniel Jones looked good, but they're going to need Saquon Barkley in that backfield.
In a big way. Not just as a runner, obviously, but his ability to catch the ball in the backfield, make plays in open space. 4 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Horrible news, not just for the Giants, but how about fantasy football teams? All right, if you've got Saquon Barkley, many of you selected him at #1 in your draft. Now he's going to be out for a decent portion of the season.
You better hit your waiver wire and get Wayne Gallman quickly. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete. The linebacker, Miles Jack, able to knock that one away.
Miles Jack can just flat out cover. Doesn't matter who's out there, and he can do it really well in man. How about what he just did there in zone, though? Eyes in the right place, saw where the ball was going, reacted appropriately, and knocked it away.
The Broncos send out their punter now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. The Jags and Leonard Fournette making their way onto the field. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
And you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it.
It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and it's a 2nd down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Now Minshew. He'll find O'Shaughnessy open left side. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. 27 yards there, a 1st down.
I know the halftime's approaching, but I don't think he's going to want to take a break. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end.
You ready?
This quarterback now hitting on 2/3 of his passes, 10 for 15 so far. 1st and 10. Now Leonard Fournette. And this one's going to go the wrong way. Losing yardage back at the 42. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
On the set. Mike 47. Clear.
On second and 11 now. Minshew, throw left side to his tight end, Swain. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to third down. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on them a little bit, I think. So they're looking at each other and trying to figure out what defense will work and how can they play better without getting beat deep for big passes.
They'll go play action here with Minshew. And he'll get that to Fournette, complete. He'll wind up being stopped for no gain, and it'll lead to a fourth down.
When a linebacker's able to sit at the second level and see things develop in front of him, as soon as he got a hint that the quarterback was checking it down, he just made a beeline directly for the receiver and ended up making the play.
Here's Logan Cook now as he's on to punt for Jacksonville. Set to start another drive, Joe Flacco and the Broncos. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but they're losing. And I think as the captain of the offense, you probably always feel like you need to do more in that situation.
The best have always felt that way, and they won't settle for anything less. So right now, his goal is to increase what he's doing on the field, try to make sure his teammates come along with him, and he feels like if I do better, everyone will do better. And that's what we're seeing from him right now. Got to have a little extra determination.
Yeah, a little extra determination. He has thrown the touchdown pass, no interceptions for him personally to this point. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll pay a visit to Jonathan Coachman. He's in Orlando, and he'll have our EA Sports halftime report. Flacco, and nowhere to fit that football in. It's knocked away and incomplete. Okay, I got a quick tangent for us here, Charles. Let's look at the teams that have not yet won in the NFL, the 0-3 teams, the Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Steelers, and Broncos. Who do you think is the first to get off the schneid?
Well, when you look at it, who has the open week? Who's safe? The Jets?
The Jets, yeah, they don't play anybody, so they're not going to win this week.
I think the Bengals and Steelers, they play each other.
Yep.
So I think the Steelers beat the Bengals and get off the schneid. They're the team that I'm looking at closest and having the best opportunity to get it done.
How about Denver hosting Jacksonville? A possibility there for the Broncos, right?
Definitely a possibility, but I like the way that Jacksonville comes into this game. A big win on Thursday night at home against Tennessee and riding their hot rookie quarterback, Gardner Minshew, and their defense look ferocious again.
And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. A Bronco first down there, 12 yards on the play.
People worry about throwing the out route because often it can get jumped, and that can turn into either an incompletion or an interception. But not on that one. Everything came together, and he catches it and goes over the sideline.
Flacco leaves to Lindsey on the draw. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. From the 36, Flacco, and Sutton hauls it in over the middle. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half.
Mike, 56, right there, 56. Let's go, D.
They look to throw on 1st and 10 with Flacco. And that's complete to the tight end, Hireman. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. Four yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Setting up to throw, Flacco. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Boy, I know you felt that one. I know you felt that one.
The Broncos on 3rd down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. They go pass again with Flacco. And now another one thrown incomplete. The linebacker, Miles Jack, able to knock that one away.
All right, let's go ahead and try and get into the body and the mind of the linebackers. Yeah, I know they're bigger and stronger than I ever was, but in this situation, they understood what was going on as much as the offensive guys, because the offensive guys are always taught, find the first down sticks and make the play. Well, on defense, what do you want to do? Guard the first down line. Make sure they don't get there and tackle them in front. They were able to drop in their zone coverage, figure out where the first down line was, and end up making the play, swatting it away so they couldn't get the completion.
So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays that when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
After splitting the uprights, McManus to kick it away. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Here we go.
Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here. Under a minute to play here in the half. Time for a late drive.
It makes sense when you think about it. Hey, try and get a field goal, give yourself a lead going into the half. But if you're going to do this, you better have supreme trust in your quarterback. Supreme trust in the guy's going to handle the football. Because if you turn it over here, not only do you go in down at the half, you've given the momentum squarely to your opponent.
The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Y'all playing the wrong football.
Jumpy on the right side of the line.
Sometimes when you're on the end, a little bit farther away from the ball, any type of movement will get you to jump, and that's exactly what happened there.
2nd and 2 now. The penalty leaves him in pretty good shape.
I got you, boy.
Throwing on 2nd down now, Minshew. A throw left side, complete to his receiver, Westbrook. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. This will probably be the last play of the quarter.
Hey, watch the slant. 4-7's the mic. 4-7's the mic. Right here.
They'll throw now on the final play. And that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. So a very tight first half. We had to break in a one-point game. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line.
Let's go!
Out come the Jaguars now as they'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They're down here, but very much in this game. What's the tonality of a coach's talk when a game is within striking distance like this at intermission?
Typically, what they're doing is emphasizing the things that went well in the first half and wanting more of that. Sure, you've got to go over some of the errors and clean up some things because there's a reason you're down. But overall, I think they want to stay positive, stay up with this team. We're just starting the second half, and we've got the football. Let's go ahead and punch it in, and then we'll take it from there.
See how that recipe works.
First downs have not come easy, and neither have runs like this throughout this game.
Absolutely not. He finally felt like, whoa, a sigh of relief. We got something going in the running game. From the 34 now, here's first and 10. They keep it with Fournette on first down. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a second and 14. Carry over from the first half. That defensive line continues to control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're actually playing the game in the offense's backfield. They're taking those offensive linemen and pushing them back towards the quarterback and towards the runners. I still don't think, though, that you abandon the running game totally, because if you do, you're asking for a lot more hits on your QB.
Throwing on second and 14. Minshew. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. That one good for a first down pickup of 18 yards.
Let's go now. 70, Indy. Here we go, D. Here I come again. Here I come again. 47.
On a jet sweep, here's Westbrook. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. Second and 10.
The outlaw. Come on, let's play.
Throwing on second down. Minshew. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he's down right around midfield after a gain of 2, maybe 3.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware, a ball may come your way.
And they're left looking at 3rd and 8 after the second down pass play only went for 2. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And that will be incomplete. How about the defensive effort from both of these teams that we've seen in this game?
Would you say it's like a high-stakes chess match right now?
Chess is one way to go. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, the only reason I say that, you feel like they're contemplating their moves before actually making one, and none of them being done very confidently.
Truth be told, I've never played chess, and I know that I'm not smart enough to play chess. Guys like you with your IQ, you can pull that off. And for an offense that is struggling, this is not where you want to start from. Great punt.
Fantastic punt. And for all those who wonder, what do punters do during the course of practice each and every day? The best ones do what we just saw there. Work on positioning the football and helping their team.
So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away.
Yeah,
Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Check so far. Defense shut them down. Let's see if the offense gets done.
First and 10, and Flacco looking to throw. And his pass incomplete. Partners, switching gears for a second, a really cool moment on Sunday night when Clay Matthews, former Browns linebacker, was inducted into Cleveland's Ring of Honor. And, of course, his son Clay was playing for the opposite team that night. It was a really neat moment.
Fantastic moment. And it's Clay 2 and Clay 3, correct?
Yes.
Dad is 2, son who's playing for the Rams now is 3. When he popped out there to see the rest of the family, all of them wearing the 57 jersey that Clay II wore with such distinction for Cleveland for all those years. When he played long enough, a lot of people think he played with Otto Graham. I mean, it was amazing. About nearly a 20-year career there. And just phenomenal what he got done. And even better to see his son able to pop out there and share the moment with him on such a special night. Just phenomenal.
Flacco will take to the air again. Airing it out for Hamilton. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on third down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a fourth down decision.
The Broncos send out their punter now as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today.
Come on, fellas.
The Jaguars getting set to go. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
I call it no gain there on the first down play.
Usually the offense has an answer to anything a defense throws at them, including a safety valve, and that's what they did on that play. They went there, but the defense still made an excellent play and held them to no gain.
Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's 2nd and 10. Off play action, it's Minshew. He's got his man on the crossing route. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. A first down there on a pickup of 25. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
He's going to sling this deep downfield. And it's knocked away and incomplete. Trying to get it there to D.D. Westbrook. And it's second down.
Got to give credit to both defenses because they've been able to keep the points down. And despite that incompletion, I like the way he's playing. He's putting up decent numbers. What he has to do, find a way to make that sound read and hit that one home run before this one's over.
This is Fournette. The second down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there.
Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. Looking to throw it, Minshew. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Derek Wolfe able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Here's Logan Cook now as he's on to punt for Jacksonville. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
Well, someone's going to be happy with that effort. You know who else is going to be happy? His defense.
Absolutely.
He's created a very long field for that offense to try to traverse.
And he got some help from Mr. Football there, checking up nicely. Good English on that punt. They'll start on the ground with Lindsey. And he'll take this forward only up to about the 7. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Another run by Lindsey. And they'll get him down up past the 15. It's a first down on a gain of 10. Well, we talked about Phillip Lindsay so much last year, but it bears repeating. Undrafted in 2018, the Broncos would sign him in May, and that was a good decision. He would have a 1,000-yard season, 9 touchdowns en route to a Pro Bowl appearance. So from undrafted to playing in the Pro Bowl in 10 months, that's pretty clean living for Phillip Lindsay. Thanks to that last play, a little more room to operate. 1st and 10 at the 18. Flacco on the give to Lindsey. And he'll take this one up to about the 23. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. A break from the ground game here. Flacco. And on the catch right side, this is Sanders. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Flacco now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Operating out of the gun, Flacco. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete. A.J. Bouye, the fine cornerback, there to make the play defensively. Charles, before the game, you and I were looking at the still undefeated teams in the league, and Detroit's technically won at 2-0-1, but let's look at the 3-0 teams. The Bills, Patriots, Chiefs, Cowboys, Rams, 49ers, and Packers. I'm guessing if I ask you who would lose first, you might say Buffalo because they play New England this weekend.
I think you're right about that because that's what you look at. What's the schedule tell us? We know the 49ers are safe because they got an open week coming, so they should be okay on that one. But you would say Buffalo, even though they're at home, New England gets them. But as a wild card, putting them on upset alert, Green Bay on Thursday night with a desperate Philadelphia team coming in. You know, you've got to be really careful with that, despite the fact Green Bay's defense has been so impressive in the early going.
To pass, Flacco. The completion there winds up a wash, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Well, the stats that matter on this play don't help a team very much unless, of course, you're playing defense.
If you're getting points per reception, you got a reception, but no yardage. Great job by the defense, though. They read through that one.
They read through it, gave up no yardage, and people got credit for tackles. Pretty good deal.
The Broncos send out their punter now as he's on here to punt it away. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. And a great job here. This is going to turn out to be a beauty. This is marked down at about the 3-yard line. Now, if you're a fan of punting, this game's for you. He's been out there quite a bit. That one maybe his best yet.
Yeah, he certainly got his leg loose by now. It kind of reminds me of my college football coach, John Majors. He loved the punting game because he liked the positioning, the field position, and he loved to play defense.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And they will start this drive with just terrible field position, backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a one-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur. I think they're ahead of schedule now after that run. They might be bold with this 2nd down call after that type of a gain.
Now Fournette. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is, and really a lot of the time they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold them to no gain.
They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down.
I think that call was made not so much to try and get the 1st down, although they would have taken it if they could have gotten it, but to give their punter a little bit of space and try and help out their defense.
Yeah, they got the safe completion on 3rd. Here's Logan Cook now, standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. A big kick, 50 yards that time with a return of 4. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Joe Flacco and company heading back out onto the field. So, Charles, there are the numbers. What's happened here? Defensive adjustments that's caused him to sort of fall off a bit?
I think so. That has to happen. You've got to make some changes because in the first half, they were pretty effective. But the second part is sometimes when you're doing really well, you get off your game a little bit. You get off the gas a little. You're like, okay, we've got this thing. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe right now, someone just needs to tell a joke in the huddle, loosen things up, and get their big guy going again.
So 2nd down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40. Here's Flacco off the play fake to Lindsey. And, boy, that one drops incomplete. But if he was hit a fraction sooner, it may have been a fumble.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And he finds Hamilton. That's complete. And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. A big 30-yard play on 3rd.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great. And what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big game. So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10. Shotgun snap and a give to Lindsey. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Back to the ground, this time with Freeman. And he'll be dropped at the 23 after a pickup of about 4.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Let's go, let's get this. Let's go. 36.
Flacco to throw here on 3rd down. He's going to let it go deep for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked by Ronnie Harrison. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Boy, Brandon, that's what I'd call an ill-advised pass right there on 3rd down. I mean, you just need a yard or two to keep the drive going. Instead, he's trying to hit a home run. You've got to really like your chances if you're going to take a shot like that.
And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go.
And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
They may want to go back to that one. First play of the drive, good for 15 and a 1st down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Throw left side complete. It's Lee. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Now that was well defended, and as a cornerback, what you're taught when you see a wide receiver screen, either you get underneath the play before the blocking forms, or you're going to have to fight your way through it by getting through some blocking. That was a really nice play there.
Down. 18 Gator.
On 2nd and 11 now. Minshew. Wide open receiver complete. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. That one covers 24 yards. It's a 1st down.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the ball, as we just saw there.
Try to get one more in here before the quarter breaks.
Come on. Let's go.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
18 Gator.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He's going to go for a big play down. This is caught inside the 15.
Holding offense.
Ready.
Well, there have been a ton of sacks. They were just trying to prevent another.
So what you're telling me is the conventional way has not really worked for them, huh?
Not at all.
Not all. So he tries to grab him here, and they still get caught.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. He was looking for James O'Shaughnessy as tight end, and now it's 2nd down. That pass just a little bit off. It looked like maybe he tried to force it in there.
Game speed, always different no matter what you do in practice. Can't simulate it, right? So your decision-making, everything has to be a little bit quicker. Sometimes it can throw you off until you adjust.
Throwing on 2nd and long. Minshew. Chris Conley, the intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down.
One thing I have learned, receivers don't mind high throws so much to the sideline, but do that over the middle to them, and not only are the DBs going to throw a little verbal trash their way, when they get back to the huddle, they're going to have a few words to say to their QB, aren't they?
Yeah, hung out to dry a little bit there on the high throw. Luckily fell incomplete. Here's Minshew. Caught here by Conley. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. A good pickup there, 21 yards. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Ready up.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Minshew, 1st and 10. Man open is Keelan Cole, complete. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. It'll be Minshew again. This one complete over the middle to O'Shaughnessy. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I've often wondered why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your head.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. And you hate to say it with a rookie quarterback. He's done some good things, but overall, looked a little bit overwhelmed back there, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But in his defense, he hasn't had a lot of time to throw the football. You like the way I said that? In his defense.
In his defense, I got it.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, he needs better protection, that's for sure. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. So 3rd and long, here's Minshew. And that is incomplete. A 4th and very long coming up. You're out of field goal range. I don't know that you can go for this.
Well, I know that you want to, right? You know that they want to say, hey, let's go for this. We've got the perfect play drawn up. Let's do it. But I wouldn't go for it either. I agree with you totally. You're only down 1 score. Punt it. Let your defense pick you up.
So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This for a 4th quarter lead. And this kick is not gonna get there. It's short and no good. So a chance there goes by the wayside. That one just didn't have enough leg to get there.
Yeah, and it would have given him a lead here in the 4th quarter. And those are the ones that keep you up at night when you don't have enough distance. I wonder if maybe did his foot hit the ground first? Did he not get enough of the ball? He's going to be thinking about that one.
The Bronco offense now set to come back out onto the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bringing up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means they might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key 3rd down. Highlight that word. Put it in bold. Here we go. 3rd down. Flacco needs a decent chunk of yardage. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Charles, thinking back to what you said in the first quarter, that part of the magic elixir for a road victory for these underdogs was going to be winning the turnover battle. Well, they only have one right now. Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, not exactly playing to the form that I subscribed, right? When you talk about winning that turnover battle, that evens things out, especially for a road team, especially for a team that's an underdog.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here. And I hate to point to that missed field goal from their last drive, but you look at the scoreboard, they would be in the lead if they had that 3.
Well, no doubt those points or those missed points do loom large, but here they're getting a chance for a makeup, aren't they? Almost like my time in school. I was always begging my teachers for a makeup exam. Here's their opportunity now to put those points on the board.
And every point becoming more vital here in the second half. It's a big play for the Jaguars. 48 yards.
That could very well be a defining play in this game. A touchdown, that gives them the lead, and they took a major step towards getting there with that big play right there.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Now Minshew on 1st and 10. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. We have not seen a whole lot of wide open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. On 2nd and 10, Minshew. D.D. Westbrook, his intended receiver. And that'll make it 3rd down.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. Minshew throwing on 3rd down. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. Give him 9 on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
A short game that doesn't get them the 1st down brings up a 4th down situation.
Really nice job defensively. They knew where the sticks were. They got the stop before it. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This for a 4th quarter lead. And Lambeau will put this one through. And they take the lead here by 2, 12-10. So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
Now after the made field goal, back out Lambeau to kick this one off. Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And Denver getting set to take the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
And he'll just plow right into a host of tacklers. Nothing there at all, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, that didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Well, they had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10. Now Flacco. Sutton reeling it in on the left side. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They tackle them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
He'll let this go deep for Sutton. And unable to connect, incomplete. Now give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
The Broncos send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. .47 yards on the punt that time, just 1 yard on the return. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try to increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns.
From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10. Fournette. Fighting through it. He's got space. Still fighting. 27 yards there, a 1st down. Well, that looked like an example of what you said back in the first half. A running back of his size can really wear down a defense. I think he's starting to do that.
I think you're exactly right. And know what else he's doing? He's inspiring the rest of his team because they see this starting to happen as well. So that means they're going to redouble their efforts to help him out. Extra blocking, getting downfield, helping him out.
Down. 90 Wolf.
Let's set a tone, fellas. Let's set a tone.
Let's go.
On the run, it's Fournette. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Ready?
Mike 51. Stop your whining.
On the draw, this is Fournette. Derek Wolfe there on the tackle.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Check, 47. Rabbit.
From the gun, Minshew to throw.
And he'll get that to Fournette, complete. 11 yards there for Jacksonville and a first down as well. Well, probably the only thing he did wrong there was go out of bounds, nursing this fourth quarter lead. You want to stay in, eat the clock.
Yeah, you got to love the effort, the catch, the extra yardage, but you got to know the situation. Stay in bounds, young man.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Going with Armstead, a first down carry. He's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4. As we get late in this one, is altitude a factor for a visiting team in Denver? Is that something that's overplayed?
No, it's real, and I know a lot of the visiting teams like to downplay it because they don't want to get into the heads of their players, but you can't avoid it. As soon as you get to the locker room, you get to the stadium, they always post it in there. Welcome to Denver. Altitude 5,280 feet. The air is rare.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Marquise Lee, the intended target, and it's 3rd down. Great coverage there all around. Really didn't have many options to throw the football.
Very little chance that one was going to be completed. Every receiver was locked up.
7th play of the drive upcoming here on 3rd and 6. Now Minshew. And able to find Conley. And this is going to be another first down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos' 23. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on 3rd down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Set. 10-2 stop.
I can't believe they let you play. I can't believe they...
Fournette, a first down carry. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10.
Here we go.
12 more yards there and another first down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Come on, set. 70, Indy. Ready?
They'll go play action here with Minshew. He's got Swaim here as tight end outright. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. Well, a clear running situation, trying to take time off the clock. He ran the previous play, set that play action up nicely.
Boy, did they ever, because they'd shown the ability to run the football. So now you lose your keys as a defense. You dive for the running play, and they hit him over the top.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Minshew, this is caught. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
Ready. 15, Lonnie. 15, Lonnie. 5.
That's caught at the 3. The completion there winds up a wash, and it'll bring up 4th down.
They dialed up the blitz on 3rd down, and your worry as a defense that they can hit you with a big play in that situation. Instead, the blitz pays off, able to rally to the football and make the play.
So on now is the kicker, Josh Lambo. From the left hash, he'll have to cut this at a tight angle. The kick by Lambo is good. And that's going to up the lead to 15-10. So yet another field goal to end a drive. That has been a very common theme. He's now hit 5 of them in this game.
Yeah, Brandon, as an offense, you hate that you've had to call on your kicker so often, but you have to love the fact that time and time again, he's come through.
Now after the made field goal, back out Lambeau to kick this one off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Let's go, boys. Bring it up.
So the Broncos coming out now. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
someone
well,
else.
and maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Good yardage after the catch. Is that play good for 30 and a first? We know he's good at catching the football, but then after the catch, he's got escapability.
Not only that, he's got some toughness as well, because you know he's coached very hard to make sure he battles through, breaks tackles, and then they finish with, but don't fumble the football.
So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Here's Flacco. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. DJ Hayden right there on the coverage.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Here's Flacco. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Lindsey. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him the football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are, you know, make someone miss in the open field.
And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. Got what he needed for the first down with a gain of 2.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the first. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. From the gun, Flacco. And his throw here's incomplete. Jeff Hireman, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. Setting up to throw, Flacco. His throw incomplete.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. Flacco fakes the give, sets to throw, and that will be incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This officially a 55-yard attempt. And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. Well, just kicking a field goal there, that's a decision that could be open to second guessing. You know, you're trying to get back within a field goal, but it didn't work out as planned.
And now you're banking on your defense to be motivated enough to get out there and get the ball back for you. I think if that ball goes through the post, the defense is naturally motivated, even elevated in their mission. Now they've got to find a way to dig down deep and get it done.
So good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. They'll start out on the ground. It's Leonard Fournette. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. 15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. 1st down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Throwing on 1st down is Minshew. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. So it's Jaguar football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. Whistles now and a timeout. So defensively they burn it here with 1:51 left. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. They'll run with Fournette, and he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. Now the Broncos going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Logan Cook now as he's on to punt for Jacksonville. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. Flacco and the Broncos now down by 5, 1:40 remaining. They need a touchdown. A field goal is worthless now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Defense wins championships, baby.
Flacco to throw. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards. Obviously a big 1st down right there.
Yeah, they still got to hustle. They got to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. But I don't think necessarily you need to spike it, but they've got to continue to move quickly.
1st down now, but that clock rolling. He'll look to throw. And that's incomplete. Deshaun Hamilton, the intended receiver, but it's going to be 2nd down. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is it just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Back to throw. Completes it to Fant on the right side. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48.
Short gain last 2 plays. Who do you think's excited about that?
Absolutely. This defense, they're saying go right ahead with those. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Back to throw. Throw left side complete. That's Lindsey. And he's got the 1st down before being taken down at the 46. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks. first down now, but the clock continues to move. Setting to throw, Flacco. This one complete to Troy Fumagalli. Now the Broncos will use their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in the game. Six yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4.
56
Pressure mounting, Flacco. This one complete to the running back, Lindsey. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down. And now on 3rd down, they'll need to get it to the 36 to pick up the first. Flacco. And he's got Hireman. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still, you're wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone, as we say so long from Denver.